Okay, hopefully everything is live. Hope everything is good. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me just double check my OBS is recording. I think everything is good. It'll be weird if it isn't. Okay. This is a full breakdown of my 359.400 world record that was set. I think it was about 9 days ago. It was done on the 22nd of May, 2024. This will be a YouTube video as well, but this is also a stream. Obviously, you can chat away. You don't think buying a thread tripper will make me better than past quiz? That could be a thing, It might make you 10 times better. Hasn't been factually proven that it hasn't, so it might make it better. Anyway, so this, as the youth will say, this might be a lot of yapping, a lot of talk. This will probably be about 30-45 minutes, which is crazy. In a 3-minute 49, I'm going to be talking for quite a long time because, trust me, there is a lot to talk about with this run because there's some new strategies that I implemented here that I haven't done in my 350 that I need to talk about. All right, without further ado, let's start this. In the video, I've skipped to 130 because all of this is just it's just not really relevant to my actual run, obviously. All right, so let's go. Actually, before I start, I need to point out about the first 8 seconds of this run. There is so much I want to say, but to keep it down to 5 words, you got to go fast, mate, because there is no consistency, okay? What you're seeing right here is about 4 years of progress. You can't just do it in 2 months. You can't even do this in a year. It's way more than that. I'm sorry. The first 33 elements really does show where you are in the Impossible Quiz in terms of speedrunning. If you're trying to speedrun it competitively, you need to get a good elephants. All right. I currently have the world record of an 8.41. This is an 8.80, I think. And I mean, it's already over. It's already over. The first 33 questions, it's already over. And my God, we need to go back. Let me go back 10 seconds quickly. Can't believe you got a world record of Impossible Quiz. I can't believe it either. Anyway, we need to go back because I need to talk about this. These first 3 questions are the pain of my existence. They cost me so much. Hitting them quickly is ass, but it's not as ass as question 5 here. After hitting the answer, which is around about here, to time your mouse to hit this, not hit the left click, which makes your mouse cursor invincible to the blue, which is why if I go through a couple of frames, you can see that I'm on the blue. Even though it says don't touch blue, if you hold left click, you can go over the blue, all that shit. But if you hold left click outside of the flash, the fucking thing disappears. So not only sometimes it just... Question 5, it comes the bane of my existence. It's so annoying. I have 37,620 attempts. I'm guaranteeing you that at least 5,000 attempts came from this question alone. And I'm not even joking. It may even be more, honestly. The elephants is probably responsible for 80, I might even say 95% of my attempts, maybe even more than 95% of all these attempts. Because you have to be you can't be super consistent. You have to go fast. And there's not much wiggle room about it. It's absolutely bullshit. And that's it. This is one thing bad about speedrunning the Impossible Quiz is that the game hits you immediately. There was no easy start. It hits you right in the nose. You're going to spend most of your attempts right here on the elephants. Question 1 to question 33 is going to be an absolute pain. But one good thing is that from, obviously, lots of people have seen this run. It went pretty viral. Not many of them knew how speedrunning the Impossible Quiz worked. And just looking at 8 seconds of this, it's amazing. First of all, this horse. This S right here, the hitbox is like this. It's not just the S. You can actually hit hit here, and it will count as the S. It's not like the outline. It's like a box here. For some goddamn reason, it's because it's so close to the D. Sometimes I accidentally hit that. Is a pain. Stupid, but not as pain as this one right here. Boggy. Boggy is an absolute motherfucker. The amount of times I've barely missed it, I've accidentally hit this, meaning that the orange is completely fucked. And not only that, by hitting BOGGY, not only is that hard enough, but then hitting a wow, I couldn't even show you. I had to do frame by frame. This skip right here. After hitting the Y, you have to do a quick down to the right, which is not easy. You can miss it by a couple of frames. You can miss this out by a couple of frames, and it just ruins the entire mode. It's just super stupid. This would not be as bad. This question would not be as bad. I will say this: if the next question, the answer was no seal, because then you just do Y and then you just spam click as much as you can. But because the answer is seal, you have to bring your mouse all the way to the left. And if you've missed the arrow and you went all the way to the left, you've got to go all the way back, hit it, and then go all the way to the left again. You can lose about 0.5 for just that one mistake. And that's why Boggy will always be the death of me. Obviously, in an 8.8, I didn't miss it. I'm going to stop here. This also is a bit like question 5. That is not as bad because it's almost impossible to go outside the box. That shouldn't happen. But it's still bullshit. And then, yeah, 8.8. Okay. Why did I say no? Why? I said no because I was tempted to do a faster strategy on question 56. I'll explain it a bit later, but when question 56 happens, it'll all make sense. Obviously, you still have to wait here. You can't spam click. I need to keep saying this. If you spam click after the skull's gone, all right, I'm going to stop this. As soon as it goes away, if you keep framing it, as soon as it goes away, if you start spam clicking, you get a stupid glitch where the entire screen's just white. You can't do anything. Nothing's there. You can't spam click. So you have to manually click, which is really annoying. You have to manually click. You can't spam click after this disappears, which means you could get quite unlucky and miss it just by a frame. Or if you're super unlucky, you get the frame where you hit the bug, I'm going to say, where the entire screen's just white. There was nothing there. Not even skipped. It's just white. Anyway, that was this. Next one, stupidly bullshit. No, it's not this question, right? It's this one. The third mazes. Notice how all the maze questions I find to be bullshit because that is the truth. To hit, even though, let me go to question 39. The answer's top left. Okay, so that's a good thing. So that means after finishing question 39, you could drop, as you can see here, you could drop down and hit this. But sometimes you don't. And you can't rely on that because if you don't, you're going to miss it, obviously. And the annoying thing about this is that you have to left click. Okay. Obviously, with maze questions, you have to left click. But like, I'm saying this right now, it's because you have to left click. You can miss it. You can accidentally hit the pink because it's not like the blue one where the big threat's not really hitting the blue, it's hitting the outside. And it's not like the green in which the hit boxes for the green are quite small. You don't usually hit the green. But this one, the next question is super close to the pink and you can lose an entire run. I've had 8.7s and 6s lost to this question because it just doesn't work. And it's bullshit. It's really bullshit, but it's how the game goes, I guess. Yeah, so that's a bullshit question. This question is also a bit annoying because obviously you don't want small hitbox. You want the biggest hitbox you can have to hit. That's fine. And here we get the first mistake of this entire run. Let me play that in slow motion here. Let me play this slow motion. So after the vanishing, oh my god, frame timing. This is it's gonna be so annoying. After hitting the balancing button, you set up for the snake. So you do a tap tap, not a tap. You do a tap tap. So you immediately hit the snake, and then after that, you go down and obviously hit splat me do. In this run, even though I went down, I clicked there. No, that's not true. I clicked there, meaning that obviously I didn't click splat me do, and because of that, I missed it. So that's the first mistake. I lost a life because obviously making the mistake is stupid, and I was trying to spam click for question 51, which is the fight. So because I was trying to do spam click, I got splat me do correctly, even though it says 1 life. It's because I immediately spam clicked on get the fuck out. Because obviously in my brain, I thought I hit it. So after hit it, I spam click after the next question. Because obviously after you don't spam click on question 51. I need to say that. You spam click on question 50 because you want to, because after, if you spam click on question 50, you set up a good 51. Like you don't just click 50 and then start spam clicking. You spam click on 50. It's faster. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that was the first mistake on the run. It's annoying. Obviously, I spam click to get the carrot, basic stuff. I changed my mind. Remember when in the elephants I said no, just the word no, because I didn't want to do a fast question of 56. But with the mistake I did, I had to go for it for this run to be salvageable, at the least. So that's when I implemented fast question 56. This could be the fastest question 56 in recording. It's over like that. The reason why this is called fast question 56 is the same is compared to my 350, I'll try and implement it. So usually, even though it's blue, red, blue, yellow, it's red, red, blue, yellow to get the glitch that red, red. For some reason, the game thinks it's BR, thinks it's blue, red, even though you're hitting red twice. It's faster because instead of going blue, red, you just go red, red. You just do a tap, tap. Wait until the buttons fully appear. Obviously, then wait. So wait till. Oh, actually, I think it's easier if I go back a tiny bit because. Oh my god, frame timing is so annoying. So after you hit the first red, obviously the game thinks it's wrong. You don't hit the red. After you click the first one, you wait 0.5 seconds roughly. Don't quote me on that. You can go a bit slower, a bit faster. It's around about that, and the glitch will always work. Usually, after I've hit the second red, I right click so I can see my mouse because obviously this is in the vanishing liquid. Go all the way to the blue, left click twice. Because remember, in Flash, when you left click, you have to left click again to actually hit the button. When before in web browsers, you only had to do it once. You have to hit it twice. And then I just went down like that and hit the yellow one. I didn't need to look. I didn't need to right click again. I just had to look at my mouse. For fast question 56, I mean, it's pretty obvious. I just basically say, fuck, fuck consistency. I didn't even look at the mouse at all. I just blue, yellow. Save 0.6 like that. I wouldn't, if you're doing runs, I wouldn't do this strategy because it's superly difficult to know exactly where your mouse is. You go from red, blue to yellow when you can't even see your mouse. I would definitely recommend still right clicking after you've clicked the second red button and right click probably again to hit the yellow one. But I had to find a time save because of the mistake I did in the previous, as you saw here. As you can see, I was alive. I had to do it to save it, and I did. So I was back on pace. This is obviously double butterfly clicking, not drag clicking, so it's a bit slower than obviously Ben Q's drag clicking. He does this question faster. This was very good. Getting an 8 on the timer, getting an 8 on the bomb. As you can hear me spam clicking on question 59, that obviously sets up to hit 3 questions, question 60, barely question 61, and then barely hitting question 61. Looks like I usually you get the moss. Looks like I didn't. I barely missed it, so I had to move down a bit, which is fine. And then we're on the cat. Now for the cat, I do a different. I use I change my DPI. I change my sensitivity. Before I would just shake as fast as I can like this, and the mic would pick up everything. The mic doesn't pick up as much as with a higher sensitivity. You don't have to move your mouse as much. I'll show it right now. So this, I just changed my TPI, so you can see the mouse is moving much rapidly, even though I'm not really moving my mouse. But then when I shake it like this is like without DPI shift, is not a lot. And then with it, it's obviously more. There's benefits, really only the cat question. And you can see the cat question wasn't as good as I wanted. There were some stutters, but it was good enough to get a 55. This is looking good. Got a very quick question 72 here, and not that good. This was pretty not that good. How do you grab your mouse when stroking the cat? I just hold it normally. I don't. You hold like your thumb on your left and your pinky on the right, and you kind of just hold it together, and then you stroke it really. I said before I use a DPI shift, so I can get faster movements like this. This is a really bad example. It's kind of like that by holding your 2 fingers, like kind of like gripping you're really gripping your mouse. You're not even trying to do any clicking at all. You're just gripping the mouse. That's your main thing basically. So that's what I do, and that's what you should do if you're trying to get a fast cat by changing your DPI. Which, by the way, when I say changing your DPI, I mean super high sensitivity. Like this is like 800. I'm talking like 4,000. That's how usually. I think that's the best strategy for it. Anyway, for question 75, obviously you spam click here to hopefully get the first frame of question 75, which you don't usually get. I want to see if I don't know if I got it in here. So let me just quickly. Yeah, you can see here I didn't get it first frame. I didn't even get it for multiple frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. God, I'm rubbish. It's kind of luck based because obviously with double butterfly clicking you get the most amount of CPS in the second, but you could be a bit frames late. You could be frames before that it actually pops up. It's quite difficult. It's kind of random in a way. It's just based on how fast you can click. I wouldn't recommend drag clicking because that's just seems completely irrelevant. Just butterfly click or jitter click as well, because it's just pure RNG if you're going to hit it or not. Well, not really RNG, but you know what I mean. But anyway, let me quickly go back because for the sugar honey, one thing you can see here, I recommend not hitting the edge of it, to actually hit the middle. I move my mouse. Wait, did I? Oh. Looks like I almost do the entire run. You need to go into the middle because what I did there was very risky. I don't think I even mean to do it. Usually I go into the middle of honey because this question can be buggy. Sometimes you have to hit honey twice. No, not twice, 3 times. It's really weird. I got quite lucky here that I didn't get it. As you can see, the outline just barely hit it. Now this question here is annoying. Most of the time, I lose a life here. And it's pretty simple. The hitbox is very small. But I obviously lost a life previously, so I had to take my time a tiny bit. I couldn't just spam click and hope I got the U. I had to take my time, and I barely got it. And I, this is I wouldn't recommend shifting your DPI for this question. This is not a good question to change your DPI. Do it normally. I would suggest when you're doing the rod rotation, make sure that you don't do a tiny bit of the pole like this. Like what I've seen some people do is that they grip it too tight and they only get like parts of the hole, but they're trying to go up and down as fast as you can. That is not good. Use the entire pole. This entire pole is a hitbox, not just this tiny bit. Use the entire pole to gain faster consistency. As you can see here, I'm using the entire pole right now. Using the entire pole. Trying to use that pole. This also counts as part of the pole. If you look at the previous frames, you can see the mouse animation. Maybe not. It barely clicked here. But still try and like go here all the way down to here to get the most amount of strokes on question 81. And you usually get it pretty fast. Also, for clicking the skip, make sure that you double tap, because if you double tap, it leads you to this toenail right here, meaning you can immediately get this toenail. Now, for the toenail question, always go up. If you go down, then you have to spend a lot of time going back, but going up immediately, meaning that it's less of a jump instead of like going here, then a massive jump to there. It's a less jump to do those two. So you do these three and you do all of these right there. And we barely got a 115. It says a 116, but we go back a tiny bit. As you can see, it's a 115. Now, the best I've ever gotten into asteroids is a mid 114. And that's was pretty much a perfect run. The only thing it didn't have was fast question 56. Everything else was absolutely flawless. And obviously, you saw the mistake I made there. Even with fast question 56, this is not perfect in any mean, but it's very close to being. It was me. This is just a cutscene. You can hold left click. Just make sure you don't right click. You can hold left click, or you can just like put your mouse here. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure that you're close, because obviously you need to put your mouse here to get the first skip, and then put your mouse here to get the next skip. And as soon as you get it, immediately go to the bottom left so you hit the asteroid like that. You can go really close. You could hit the boundary. You can hit the outside. Like you could, wait, if I go back a tiny bit, when the asteroid appears, you can see, you can hit it and then go outside and it's okay. Even if it says game over, as long as you hit the asteroid first, well, the shooting star. If you hit the shooting star first, that's okay. That's what you need. The entire Elsa question doesn't matter. But just make sure that you get as close, but not too close. You want to get not too close. Next one. As similar, you can see me spam clicking on question 87 because you're setting up for the Sonic Break question, as that is obviously a spam question. You're setting up so you can get the best as possible. One of the best Sonic Breaks I've ever had. A mid 8 seconds is absolutely amazing. One of the best Dollarfly clickings, and it's even better when the letter was also amazing as well. I said this in the video somewhere here, that question 88, question 91 was some of the best I've ever done. And it's pretty obvious. If we just go back a couple of seconds, I've already talked about my Sonic Break. But the letter is where I found the most amazing, because this question is absolutely painful. This is one of the most annoying ass questions. Some people just do this on it, and that's completely RNG. I don't do that. Start off on this line here on the paper. You will get the first. Try and go up, down, and then why do I go up, down, and then I do a sling like this. You can see here, I did a little sling there. It's very hard to do consistently. You can spend 30 minutes doing this, just doing this question, and it's still not consistent because any wrong thing, the hitbox is very small. Any wrong thing that you do, it's over. If you miss one thing, you can't, because you need to do each at a time. You can't miss one, which makes this very bullshit, and it's one of my most hated questions in this entire quiz. We obviously plus 0.1 seconds. With that 88, the Sonic Break, and 91 being absolutely amazing, we just caught back up, basically. Now, this run, I don't fully remember what my 350 had in terms of asteroids, but I believe it was a very low 115. But it didn't have as good of a question 88 and not as good of a 91, which is why we catched up on this one. We catched this up very goodly. And obviously, with this being a light, but this is an auto splitter, so I knew that the bomb that shows up on the top right will happen at 145.5 something seconds. I'm not putting hundreds on my light split. I just look at the 0.5. So after I've done all of this, I look at my light split, and when it says 145.5, I then hit 0.4. I was I was one frame. This was a frame perfect question 92, and I had no idea. That's because this must have been a 5.9 or something, and I go for fives. So I was one frame. I was basically frame perfect on 92. Apparently, I think that was Ben Cube was talking about. He said I got a frame perfect 92. So this is the best ever. Absolutely crazy. Obviously, this is just a cutscene. There's nothing else you can do. A little break. You can stretch out your arms, all that shit, and prepare. Actually, I should have probably said this. Where you want to position your mouse. You should always obviously get a 10 bomb. Obviously, always go top right of the 0 circle. Top right of that circle there. Why? Because when you flick down the bomb, you get the best hitbox. You get all of this hitbox here instead of this small hitbox there. You get all of this, which is why you want to be at the top right. You get the most hitbox here. So it's much better. So you can flick the bomb down and you get most of the hitbox down. There's obviously another cutscene. I did something a bit differently though. Before, let me pause again. Before I right-clicked and then just waited and did a tap on the cat. Because obviously, like I said before, annoying thing with Flash is that if you actually want to press something, you got to do 2 clicks instead of 1. I didn't want to do 2 clicks. I wanted to do 1 click. So instead, I just hold it down left click because the mouse becomes invincible and also invisible according to the game. So even though you don't see any right clicks, I'm holding down left click. So according to this flipping cat, the mouse is nowhere to be seen, which is why it's starting to disappear and starting to fly. And you can see I only did 1 click. Also, question 98 can be very annoying. Make sure, let me go back. Make sure that when you hit this red, don't do it at the sides. That's very risky. Do it at the green. So it's like you're actually trying to hit the middle this time. And you point that out and make sure that you actually hit the mouse really hard because sometimes the game might just not pick up your click, and obviously because it's blue, red, blue, yellow, you're doing 4 inputs instead of just usually 1 in the entire quiz. Because you're doing 4 inputs, you need to make sure that every input matters and you get them all right. Obviously, another cutscene. There's a reason why even though question 92 to question 100 is almost a minute long compared to how long the quiz is before question 91. There's a lot of cutscenes here, and if there's somehow a way to skip these questions, we're talking a sub 310. Now, I would say that for even if you have 2 lives, don't spam click for question 99. Even though if you spam click, you get a very good, because obviously when you finish with this, it sets up for here. But I wouldn't recommend spam clicking when it's at a 2 bomb on question 99. So you're guaranteed to get a really fast question 100, because lives are very important for the Epic 10. Even if you get one more life, it's better than having no lives. Well, one life, 2 lives, 1 life, you know what I mean? You have one safety net. Because we start off with question 101, and 101 is a pain in the ass. Try and set up your mouse so it's in the middle of the 1 and 0. That's where this first C is. You can click the C as soon as the let's do it sign disappears or the 101 sign appears. That's where you can click it. You can't click it before. Can't click it before. Then try and hit here. I mean, it's kind of under it's like bottom right 0. It's kind of the white outline. And then whilst you're looking at that, you need to go in the middle of here. Now, this is very hard to do because unlike before, where you have the entire hitbox, you always have the entire hitbox of a letter. Because the Chihuahua has an I in it, the entire hitbox is this small piece of shit. And honestly, there's so many runs I've had, but I barely missed and I've lost it because I accidentally hit the H because I thought I hit the I. This one was very good. As you can see here, I hit the I. You can see here, I was right on the I when I clicked it, because if we go back, I was in the middle of the 0 and 1, as you can see. So that was very good. But I just missed the A. As you can see here, there's no A currently. I was trying to hit the A, and I just missed it. You can see I just missed the A. I thought I hit it, which is why I was going to go to the H, but I just barely missed it. It's lost me a tiny time. Only 0.1. Could have been a bit better, though. There was a tiny mistake there. And the same thing goes for 102. You can see on my split that this 102 is not the best ever. I can save 0.8 seconds on question 102. It's actually the biggest time save out of this entire run, split-wise. I'm not really counting this. But to get 102 consistently on a very good run is so difficult to do, man. It's almost impossible. I mean, if you tell Jagmeet he lost more than a second on 102, because I'm sure it's because of nerves, because this question can punish you so much if you don't know how to do it correctly. That was a good here, because even though this entire hitbox, obviously the entire dot hitbox works, you can just barely miss the circle, and you can do this so many times, and it can take you so long to do just one dot. And obviously, when squares get involved, as soon as you hit the square, boom, run's dead. Just like that. The run's gone. And as you can see here, this is where things get a bit bullshit. After you've hit this dot, try and not hit the square. That's all I have to say. The rest of the squares don't matter. It's just this square. That's the most concerning part. You can lose runs by hitting this square. You kind of want to go up like that. Make sure you go up and down. But you can see here that I just barely missed that circle. Barely missed it, dude. Which is why 1 and 2 can just be an absolute pain to you. You can lose so much time. Those two. Is right-clicking useful for any of the dots? I will talk about that in 2 seconds, actually. Just be with me. All right, so for this one, obviously, this is like a small cutscene. Try and angle your mouse between the skip and the life, because if you do that, and I think I did it correctly here, you should get the next dot. Yes, you should get the next dot first frame you do it. So that's pretty good. Just make sure you put your mouse exactly between the middle. The dot's not as big. It's not as small as this dot, but it's pretty big. So there's a tiny bit of leadway. And then with this one becomes the worst one in existence because the hitbox is so tiny. Try and, if you can, just go up to it and start wiggling your mouse like this. That's as much as help as I can give because that dot absolutely sucks ass. Now we have fast dots, so now even if you have to get it immediately, these dots you have to get immediately. You can't even make a mistake because they're super fast. They'll disappear very quickly. But if you've done these two, I'm gonna go back a tiny bit because this is when you don't want to right click but left click. That's what I'm saying. The game obviously wants you to go down here and hit the last dot. I've been doing that for quite some time, but you can left click. And I'm going to say this right now, apart from question 56, where you want to right click so you can see the mouse, any other question where you don't want the answer to hurt you, you want to left click. Because now that I've left clicked, instead of going around down like this, you just left click. Oh my god, that was a couple of frames. You can left click, go right through the mouse. Now, there is a chance that you don't have to left click on this part of the dots at all. As you can see, you could just go through here, but left clicking is much better. Just make sure that you actually let go of the left click. As you can see here, you might think that the game is bugged because I'm on the dot, but it's not responding. Like next frame, it's still there. Next frame here is still there. Make sure you exit out your left click, because if you hold down left click, nothing can hurt you, but nothing will interact with you. So you have to let go of it. So don't right click at all apart from the vanishing questions. Well, basically apart from question 56. That's the only time right clicking is useful because you can actually see your mouse. The rest, you want to left click. It's much easier. You always want to play on flash. I probably should have said that before. You always want to play on flash. See here, I only saved minus 0.1. And here, I knew that I had to get a really good 108 and a really good 109 and a really good 110 to have a shot at this world record, because that's the biggest time save in the entire run with those two questions. I could have said a second, a 101 or 102 combined, and I actually lost 0.1 compared to the start of the Epic 10. So it's not looking too good. Go to this top C. This is pretty easy stuff. Top C. Right at the top of the C, you always go into Dennis the Square Tomato. Do not double click. You want to try and get it the first frame you can. Now, double clicking on question 103 and 104 is faster technically, but it's only useful for epic 10% runs. I wouldn't recommend doing it in 100% runs, and I don't think 100% runs will ever happen. Hello, Burnt Bread, welcome. You've missed like a bit, but don't worry, there's still a lot to cover. So yeah, make sure you get the first frame of the dots and do not double click. So you can do question, so you're on 104. Try and go to the bottom right where the moon is and spam as much as you can. Obviously, it's only a double click, so you don't need to spam too much. You just need to spam enough and then get ready to, as you can see here, go into question 106. Where like the red outline is, basically. Kind of where the red outline is at the bottom left. That's kind of where you want to go. My strategy for 103 is to actually spam click, but I saw others seeing that I've clicked it. Well, I mean that can work. It's just a bit risky if you haven't stopped it at the right time and you skip question 104. But yeah, that does work as well. Now this is when I saved the 0.3 from the 350.15, which is why I said saving 0.3 here. And I mentioned it in my detail at the end of this run, is that I made a mistake in my 350 on this question. I lost 0.3, saved it here. So even though it says plus 0.1 in my head, I know that I'm ahead. That rhymed for some reason. This is obviously just a cutscene, nothing more. Oh yes, I need to. Oop. If you double click on the skip, right on the left, I'll put this frame here, so you can actually see the arrow right on the left here. So you're very close. If you double click, you won't, as you can see here, you won't hit this. You won't hit this. As you can see, the mouse is very far away. So instead of like trying to angle, try and like get the first frame, just only click it once. Instead of only clicking once, you can actually spam click, so you get a better. I wouldn't say odd-wise, but like it's more consistent to get a very fast instead of accidentally missing the arrow. And then after spam clicking, you just go straight onto it, and you know that you've done that based on the mouse animation. You want it to always stay like this the entire time of question 107. There you go. That's the fastest ever question 107. Just make sure you double click on the arrow on question 106 so you don't accidentally hit question 107, which has happened, which is also another reason that you want to save as many lives as you can. Because that could happen. You could lose a life here, and it'd be very sad if you actually lose the wrong base on that. That's not good. Try and angle your mouse. Actually, I'm going to say this here. Where I go is underneath the W here. Not too far down, kind of underneath, like, you know, it goes, the W goes down, up, down, up. You kind of want to go in the middle here, as you can see here. Kind of like where the upside down V is of this part here. You want to angle your mouse here because when 108 starts, you can't see it here, but I'm going to keep, but when I go back to here, you're exactly here. You're barely hitting the 4. And because you're barely hitting the 4, you're very close to the space bar. And because of this, it decreases the amount of movement you needed to do to your mouse, so you get a faster question 108. Now, in terms of hitting the 8, there is a strategy. So after you've hit the full dash, the 108 sign comes up. And while you're moving your mouse, as you can see here, I've already done this here. It's kind of hard to see that it's in the middle of the 0 and 8 when you go down. It's quite difficult to see that, but when you do that, you hit the 8. See that? It's kind of like, actually, it's not really in the middle. It's more like like behind here. If I'm trying to put my mouse, it's like bottom left of the 8. But I wouldn't recommend doing that without actually seeing the 8, unless you're getting really good at question 108. I will recommend doing the strategy which hits the 4 in the space, but just wait for question 8. Wait for the number 8 to appear. And then the rest is just very good muscle memory. At that time, it should appear. It's very unlikely that I went super fast and I can't see the 1. By that time, the entire question appears. And after hitting the 8, it's just muscle memory at this point. And obviously, question 108 is one of the biggest choke points of the entire quiz, because kind of like question 102, if you did one mistake, it's over. If you hit a 2, it's over. If you hit it at 7, it's over. If you hit space when you don't want to, it's over. If you hit execute too quickly, it's over. Lots of choke points, a lot of game overs that happened from just barely missing something. If you've barely missed one, it's almost basically over because that's question 108. Now, this is the best ever question 108 that I have done and probably will ever do in an 100% run because it's absolutely crazy. Yeah, especially since 108 makes you lose all your lives when you make a mistake. Yes, even if you have 2 lives, it's not like if you hit it, you lose a life. The entire question absolutely the entire question stops. You can't do anything. There's all the system errors, which is why question 108 is, while I wouldn't say it's the hardest question, it's one of the most chokeful questions in the entire quiz. The sound effects, yes, I wouldn't use your sound. I wouldn't use the sound effects. I'll mainly look at your mouse, not really the sounds. That I don't know what I was just I don't know what I was saying. Just look at your mouse instead of the sound effects. That's what I was trying to say. But yeah, so as I was saying before, the rest is just muscle memory. You just got to get useful to the pattern. See, as you can see here, if I'm trying to go as fast, I can sometimes barely miss it. And if you barely miss it, it's completely over. But obviously, as you can see here, this is the best ever 108. And yeah, there's not much I can say about that. That's amazing. I angle the mouse just below the 7. You can even do it a bit higher than the 7. It doesn't really matter. As you can see here, I angled it so I'm barely hitting the 7. As you can see here. The reason for this because if I go a bit further, I'm barely hitting the spider's leg. The hitbox is most people think that you need to hit the butt. That's the only hitbox. No, the hitbox is it's like a square of the entire monkey. It's kind of like a square. So because of that, the arrow comes around here, so you want to get as close as you can to the arrow to minimize movement. So just place your mouse here. As you can see here, when it's done, I didn't have to move my mouse very low. Instead of like if I was spam clicking here, I had to move my mouse a bit more. You minimize the movement, so there's just less movement basically. And then question 110. Question 110. Lol, this is a question always feels so weird and vulgar. It does feel weird. It's it's a bit like it's just a weird question. Anyway, for question 110, obviously, as soon as the text appears, you can click the skips. It's one of the old classic skips that was made. I don't even remember the first person who did this, to be completely honest. Someone probably just accidentally hit a skip and realized that they can do the entire question without even copying up. As soon as the text appears, you can hit the skips. I obviously double butterfly click because if you double butterfly click, you get the most amount of clicks, meaning that you have the most amount of chances of hitting a skip. And obviously, you don't want to go slow. I just double butterflied. I went all the way to the left. Oh no, not all. Sorry, not all the way to the left. All the way to the right. So I hit every single skip. Now, obviously, this is also a very chokeful question because if you've missed a skip, you don't know where it is. You can't see it. So, what I do recommend doing is that after you've double butterfly clicked or whatever, all the way to the right, don't stop. Go all the way back to the left and do the same thing, just in case if you made a mistake, basically. It's to minimize the error in the mistake. You still obviously lose time, but if you start spam clicking all the way to the right and do the same thing and go all the way to the left, there's a very big chance that you hit all the skips. Do you think you can beat this record again? Like, did you make any small mistakes? Well, I already mentioned some of the small mistakes, but it's, as I said before, it's a very difficult run to beat. There's definitely mistakes there, like I said, but lots of the run is pretty much perfect. I've said it in the video, but the human limit is about a 345 to a 344. And that's mainly due to the fact that with the spam clicking questions, you can do drag clicking. I did double butterfly clicking, but you can do drag click, which saves a second on every single spam question. That's the only big time save. The rest just comes down to consistency with the mouse. Will you attempt another speedrun today? Not today, but I'm grinding on first 100 questions and epic 10%, which is like mini categories for this game. Trying to improve that as well. Those videos should hopefully come out very soon. It depends if I get lucky. I think the only way to move forward after this is to do the 104, 105 strat, right? Yeah, basically. That's basically how it works. Butterfly click can just it's just to make sure you're the most consistent. That's what basically I'm trying to say. Have you tried to attempt the policy category 50% speedrun? I don't know what 50% would classify. I don't know what 50% of a run is. No, I haven't tried it. That's not a category. Anyway, as I was saying, double butterfly click or click all the way to the right, then go back all the way to the left to minimize your mistake. And if you want to, you can go right, left, and right if the question is still not done, just to always to minimize the amount of time loss that you do it. Oh, it's a good idea I just made up. Do a run until question 50. Well, do a run until question 50 will take about 30 seconds. So it'll be pretty boring, I would say. Would it ever be possible for skipping question 104 to be faster than question 105? Now you are correct. So it is faster to skip question 104 and do question 105. But, and I said this in before, I don't know where it is. Here it is. I'll go in here for now. It is faster to skip question 104 instead of skipping question 105, but you have to do really, really good on question 105, which in a 100% run is very, it's not realistic. It's because that means there's 3 questions between 101 and 106 that have you, well, technically 2 questions, but it's 101 with the letters, and then 105 that actually spell out banana. The hitboxes are really small, and if you make one simple mistake, just one, you're losing like 0.3. It's crazy. Anyways, as I was saying, double right click. I hit every single skip, and 359 point. It says 359.3 not on my live split, but when frame counted, it's a 340. Not 340. Not 359. What am I talking about? It's a 349.39, but live split is not an accurate way of measuring. That is frame counting, and frame count says 349.400. So this live split was just barely faster, apparently, or something. I don't know. It's barely faster. And then yeah, that's it. Okay, I did a bit too much there. Anyway, as I was saying for how 104 is faster, you can see here, if you look here, you skip 103, 104, and if you do the bananas super quickly, 106 is faster. So you can see here, Jagme did it. He did like a fake run, I would say, and he says 0.6. To do that in a 100% run is, while it's possible, it's stupidly difficult to do because 101 or 102 are so difficult. And then when you think you're done, you need to do it again with 105. And actually, if we go back quickly, if you go back to the banana here, the hitboxes don't cover the whole thing. It just covers the outline of the N and the outline of the A and the outline of the B. So it's even tighter than before. It's very difficult to do. I will be doing this though in epic 10%, but not in 100%. I don't think I'll ever do this in a 100% run. So, well, yes, you're correct though, Mike Will Plays. Skipping question 104 with a double click is faster, theoretically faster, but it's way more difficult. Like, it's if someone did it, because if you do it fast enough, obviously Jagme did it. Oh god, sorry about that. If Jagme did it pretty fast, but he didn't do it like very, very fast. You can obviously do it faster, which obviously saves more time. But if you do it faster, then there's a bigger chance that you'll lose time. So yeah, it is faster to do, basically it is faster to skip question 3, 1, and 4, but it's becomes stupidly difficult. And then yeah, that's is the entire speedrun. That is my 349.400. I don't think I'm gonna make another full analysis unless I feel like it. That'll be the last one. I think the reason 101 is hard is because the hitbox of the eyes. Yes, it is very small. It's one of the stupidest things about it. It's very, very small. It's very, very bullshit. But yeah, that is my 349.40. It's a full analysis. I've been talking for 55 minutes. I've been yapping for 55 minutes. Can't you believe it? On a 3-minute 49 run. Thank you guys for watching, everyone. Hopefully, I make a video. Hopefully, I get a couple of world records with first 100 questions and epic 10%. That'll be my. Well, I hope that happens in the future. I've currently got a 125 in first 100 questions. I haven't granted epic 10% in about a couple of months. So let's go. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.